Hi everybody, Prepper for the Ages coming at you from my primary location. Before I put all this stuff away, I wanted to show this to you. I did the first take and it was perfect, it was wonderful. And then I hit the mute button about halfway through. And then it was like... So anyways, alright, let me show you this to you really quick. This is my mom's backup oxygen. When the person gets prescribed oxygen, whether it's an elderly or a differently abled person, when they first get prescribed oxygen, more than likely your doctor will prescribe oxygen tanks. And this is the point where, yes, you get the oxygen tanks, you do the oxygen tanks, and then you go back to your doctor and say, can we get prescribed a oxygen concentrator? Why? Because the oxygen concentrator is the mechanical thing that I showed you in the previous video, and it's much better. You don't have to, when this is out, this is out. Basically, it's a cans of oxygen, tanks of oxygen, and that's basically a finite amount of oxygen. So you're always calling the oxygen supply company and to get more tanks, to get more tanks, to get more tanks. And we all know that in times like this, there aren't enough people to go around. There aren't enough. They can't hire enough people to make the oxygen tank swap out deliveries on time. So bad, very bad. Okay, enough about that. But let me show this to you. Before I put this away and square it away from Mom's room, it is several components. There's 3 components in here you need to know about. Okay, so let me do this. This is a tank. How long does these tanks last? Well, it all depends on your the amount of oxygen you use. I will square these away. We like the long tubing because if Mom needs to get up and go to the bathroom, she doesn't have to lug this all around. Okay. I hope I'm still not on mute. Okay, good. Alright, so let me see. They usually deliver the cylinders. Make sure when they take the cylinder away and replace it with a full cylinder, then they don't take this away. This pink thing, you keep, it goes, you unscrew it. When it's empty, you give them the tank, they give you the new tank, you put it back on. There's a hole here. There's a clamp here. You see the clamp here. There's a hole here. You turn it on. If you see right now, it's not on because it's the gauge is in the red. You turn it on. How do you turn this on? Lefty loosey. Okay, so now you see the oxygen is on. The little gauge is green. On the green. Let me turn this off because oxygen is a finite amount in the tank. So this is what you do when somebody has somebody is prescribed oxygen. This little here regulates the amount. Right now it's on 2 because that's what my mother is prescribed is prescribed for. So there's your oxygen tanks. There's a finite amount of them. This is for emergencies. She has the portable oxygen concentrator. Thank God. She has the portable oxygen concentrator if we want to go somewhere. It has the battery. We have the regular oxygen concentrator in the bedroom, and she's listening to TV in the bedroom. That's what's on in the background. And she has these as backup. If the power goes out, if the power goes out, her main oxygen concentrator doesn't have a battery, so that's gone. So when she needs oxygen, we'll switch her over to the portable oxygen concentrator. I showed it to you in a previous video. It will go for, I don't know, 6 hours or so until the battery runs down. And I make sure that the thing is plugged in at all times, so the battery's charged. Big thing, battery needs to be charged. The thing needs to be plugged in for the battery to charge for it to work in if we want to go anywhere where there's no electricity. This is the backup to the backup. Okay, once that charge goes down, a grid down situation, then we move to the tanks. Since my mom can exist for a while without the oxygen, all depends on her breathing of the day. I need to have this, but it doesn't need to be right there. So it can be in a closet, it can be in the back of a closet, it can be somewhere, but anywhere where I can get to it and grab it and port it up and set her up with it. So this is something that is going to be in a backup area that is accessible, but not, I don't have to have it right there at all points in time. Let me see if okay. Whee! Let me check this again. This has a mute button. If I go like this on it, it just mutes everything. So anyways, so yes, so grid down situation, we go from mom's oxygen concentrator to the portable oxygen concentrator here. It's in the living room, that's why I'm pointing that way. And then when that runs down on battery, then we do the tanks. And one of my viewers said, what do you do in a grid down situation? Long-term power outage. So I don't have anything right now for a long-term power outage, so that might be something that I can figure out for future use. So let's fast forward. Today is September 4th, 2021. We've just had Hurricane Ida. We see that down in the main area of impact, there's no power, and they're not going to be with power for a month. There's no food and water. That's not good either, if you're not a prepper, or if it hasn't been washed away. And also there is no gas in the street, because they've shut off the gas because they don't know where the gas lines are broken and whatnot. So there we go. Okay, so something happens similar here, because we've had a hurricane. We've had the hurricane roll through us, and we've had our own problems with that. So, you know, one option is to get a house generator that is hooked up to the power in the street, hooked up to the gas in the street, so that if the power goes out, the gas is still going, it can keep going and keep running things. Well, down with Ida, they shut off the gas because they don't know until they can get a hold and get control of all of where the gas is going. So that might not be good in a grid down situation. And then we have propane tanks. Well, if we have a hurricane, the propane tanks might be blown around or might be floating away. You know, the big propane tanks. Or you have, there's some generators that go off of the grill propane tanks, but those would probably be limited in quantity, and everybody would be competing over to get in the area, but if it's going to be an area-wide grid down situation. Now the other thing that we could get is a solar power generator, and that might be an option to have a solar power generator, because you could take it anywhere. You could have the fold up solar panels, and then when you want power, you unfold and you put them where you can catch the most sun. You can power the generator, and the generator can power one of the oxygen concentrators. So that might be something that would be interesting. Which oxygen concentrator has the least amount of draw? Don't know yet. Hey, that's something I can find out. But it's something that could be a solution in a long-term situation, grid down situation, for my mom, for anybody that needs the oxygen. But it's something that is, you know, we've mitigated the short-term power outage with a portable one, with a mid-term power outage with the tanks, but long-term power outages, it'll be interesting to see what the decision is made. You know, I think they're about $1,000 or $1,200 right now. Not the oxygen, the generators plus the solar panels or whatnot. But that's an investment, so that's something that I need to think about long and hard to see what are the most likely scenarios and what would work the best in a broad amount of grid down scenarios. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about right now. Okay, alright, I hope you like this video. Don't be afraid of the oxygen. The portable oxygen concentrators, they take the air, they separate out the oxygen, and they shoot it through the tube. But, you know, if you lay down a tube, then the oxygen and the air remixes. So that is not as big a big bada boom as having the oxygen here. If the oxygen here, that's concentrated oxygen, so you don't want to leave it open. It's something that you don't want to spark. You don't want to spark, as I point to the wood stove. That's something that you keep away from the wood stove. You make sure that it doesn't leak into the wood stove or whatnot. And it's a little bit more dangerous, but you're going to be breathing it. If you're going to be breathing it, turn it on, breathe it. If you're going to take the breathing thing off, then you shut it off and you go off. So it's not that bad. Just make sure it doesn't. Make sure it's, you know, when it's on, you're breathing it in, and it's valuable enough commodity that you're gonna be, when it's on, you're gonna be breathing it in. Okay, all right. Hope that makes sense. Okay, all right. Just wanted to show you a little bit more about the setup. I need to square away the hosing. I really need to square away the hosing, and I'm gonna find a spot where it's not anywhere where you can trip over it, but it's readily accessible if there's an event. All right. Okay, I hope this finds you well. Okay, Prepper for the Ages signing out for now.